The sun scorched the asphalt in Willow Creek, a quiet suburb outside Denver, on August 12th, 2024. Heat waves danced off the pavement, and I was crouched in the community lot, tightening the final screws on an EV charging station I'd spent months designing. It was my Pridea clean, efficient beast that could power a neighborhood's worth of cars. Behind me, the faint buzz of scooter wheels cut through the air. My son, Ethan, 12 years old, was testing the electric scooter I'd built for his school project. His helmet glinted under the noon sun, and his grin was wide enough to break your heart. I remember thinking, keep that spark, kid. Don't let this world dim it. I should have known the world doesn't listen to prayers like that. Willow Creek's HOA had morphed into something ugly. They'd rolled out a safety patrol a few months back, not cops, not professionals, just self-important nobodies in cheap polos and knockoff badges, strutting around like they own the place. They'd fine you for a crooked mailbox, ticket kids for hopscotch drawings, even measure your lawn with a ruler. My gut had been screaming that trouble was brewing, and as I watched Ethan zip around the empty lot, that dread coiled tighter. Stay close, I told him that morning. Don't talk to anyone in a uniform unless they've got a real badge. He nodded, his hazel eyes full of trust. That was an hour ago. Peace is a liar. It lulls you, makes you think danger will knock politely. It doesn't. It slinks in, quiet and cruel, and hits when you're distracted. I was wiping sweat from my brow, Ethan's laughter ringing across the lot, when the world turned inside out. A sickening thud flesh on metal froze the air. Then silence, sharp as a blade. I spun around. Ethan's scooter lay mangled, one wheel spinning lazily. He was face down, helmet askew, arm twisted under him. Standing over him was Laura Hensley, HOA president, self-anointed queen of safety enforcement. Laura stood with a smug tilt to her hip, her aviators reflecting the sun like armor. Her polyester polo screamed, "Wannabe cop," and in her hand was a black baton reel, heavy, still warm from the strike. Kids can't just ride near electrical equipment, she barked, not even glancing at me, her eyes fixed on Ethan like he was a stray dog. It's a hazard. Something snapped inside me. I told him to stay here. I roared, storming toward her. He was on the curb, not touching your precious chargers. Laura lifted her chin. Watch your tone. I'm authorized. I cut her off. By who? You're not a cop. You kicked a 12-year-old off his scooter. She barely glanced at Ethan, still crumpled on the ground. Maybe you shouldn't have been raised to run wild. That was it. Rage flooded my veins, hot and primal. I shoved past her, dropped to my knees, and checked Ethan's pulse. It was there, faint but steady. Blood trickled from a gash on his forehead, and his elbow was raw. His trembling body under my hand lit a fuse I couldn't douse. Touch my son again, I said, each word a blade, and I'll show you a real hazard. Laura laughed a cold, sharp sound. Control your kid, or I'll find someone who will. I stood calm but deadly. You want to talk infrastructure? I growled. Let me give you a demonstration. I turned to the charging station, my creation, and popped open the side panel. My tools were inside, but so was something Betterra thick, high-voltage cable humming with restrained power. I wrapped my hand around it, feeling the current's pulse climb my arm. Laura didn't see it coming. Not yet. But as I yanked the cable free, its black coil hissing like a snake, I knew this wasn't just about Ethan anymore. This was justice. Laura stood her ground, arms crossed, smirking. Vandalizing HOA property now? That's a lawsuit. I didn't answer. I walked toward her, each step heavy, deliberate. Put that down, she snapped, her voice cracking. You're threatening an official. You know official, I said, low and cold. You're a bully in a bad uniform. Her eyes flickered fear, finally. She fumbled for her walkie-talkie, but I was faster. The cable whipped out, smacking her wrist. The device skittered across the pavement. You assaulted my son, I snarled. Now we're balancing the scales. She stumbled back, but I grabbed her collar, yanking her forward. With one smooth motion, I looped the cable around her waist twice, not tight but firm. You want to control, Laura? Feel it. She screamed, flailed, her heels scraping my shins. I didn't flinch. I dragged her across the lot, the cable trailing like a leash. Neighbors spilled out, phones up, filming, silent. No one stopped me. They'd had enough of Laura's fines, her threats, her reign over kids and lawns and lives. I stopped at the Charger's main hub, its steel casing radiating heat. Laura thrashed. "This is illegal. I'll sue." I leaned close. "Survive this first." I forced her to her knees, her face inches from the scalding metal. She shrieked, but I held the cable steady, letting her feel the heat, the power she'd never earned. "You're done," I said, loud for the crowd. "No more badges, no more batons, no more ruling us." Laura looked small, broken. The air shifted. Neighbors closed in, voices rising. She fined my kid for a kite. She threatened my dog. She charged me for a cracked driveway. Laura's empire was crumbling, and she knew it. Sirens cut through the haze. 2 squad cars and an ambulance screeched in. Laura scrambled up, tears streaming, pointing at me. "Arrest him. He attacked me." The lead officer, unfazed, raised an eyebrow. "You the kid's dad?" I nodded. She knocked him off his scooter with a baton. He hit a post. I found him bleeding. Laura sputtered. He was in a restricted zone. The officer's eyes narrowed. "You're not a cop, ma'am. You don't get to hit kids." They cuffed her, her protests fading as they led her away. An EMT tended to Ethan, now sitting up, dazed but alive. I exhaled. This wasn't over, but it was a start. 3 days later, the HOA's officia tacky converted garage was raided. Federal agents stormed in, seizing files, laptops, phones. My video, posted online, had gone viral. Thousands saw Laura strike Ethan, saw me drag her. Comments flooded with HOA horror stories. Whistleblowers emerged. Laura hired ex-cons for patrols. Fake fines, siphoned funds for personal luxuries. The DA piled on charges: fraud, racketeering, child endangerment. Laura's world collapsed. 2 weeks later, the HOA was gutted. At an emergency meeting in the park, the remaining board stammered apologies. Neighbors shouted them down, demanding reverse fines, erased blacklists, and torn down cameras. I spoke up. "No more tyrants. If you keep her stink, we'll come back louder." Volunteers, including me, ripped out Laura's signs, tossing them into a dumpster. Ethan, healing, laughed again, his scooter fixed by a neighbor. Community, a thing Laura tried to break, was rebuilding. In the hospital, Laura woke to a wristband marked detainee. Her accounts were frozen. Her board had betrayed her, and I visited to deliver the neighborhood's message. "You're erased, Laura. No one fears you now." She trembled, speechless, as I walked away. At the ice cream shop, Ethan and I sat under an awning, double scoops in hand. "She's gone, right?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "She's done." He looked at me, steady. "You didn't let her win." I smiled. "I'm your dad. That's my job." He grinned. I knew Laura's fear was dead. What rose was USA Community Unchained. Justice isn't always a gavel. Sometimes it's a father's rage, a cable's weight, a line drawn in fire. Laura ruled through fear, but love for my son, for our home burned brighter. Stand up when it's hard, when it's right. Bullies only win when we stay quiet. What would you have done if it was your kid bleeding on that pavement? Could you hold back, or would you fight like I did? Drop a yes in the comments if you're still here, and share your story. Have you faced a bully like Laura? Hit like if you believe in fighting injustice, and subscribe with the bell so you don't miss the next battle. Your voice matters. What's the line you draw with fire?